Yeah, and Arjun are going to get gifted over a Cassiopeia yet again.
That would be a horrible mistake.
Oh, I mean,
okay.
It's going to be banned, okay. But now, what is available? Because there are certainly a lot of things. Yes, Urgot is certainly up, but Rakan is also there. Kellen maybe didn't have quite as much of a performance as Hoyt did in our previous series, but certainly was still good on the Rakan, and they are going to lock that one away. Jin getting the highest priority pick, and I feel like Rakan is really smashed up, especially in my mind. Rakan is almost one of the best first picks that you can possibly get. Gen.G will be given a couple of power picks here. First one being the Urgot, and they can take away the Tahm Kench if they want to. Kai'Sa going to be picked away from Root, though, and I don't mind that. Ruler had a good game 1, and Root had a good game 2, so you may as well get the Kai'Sa again for yourself if you can.
Now, if you are Jin Air, you have to wonder what type of strategy are they going to use to approach here. It looks like a Scion. We don't know if he's going to go mid or top. Okay, well.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Vladimir insta-locked.
Well, Root could be playing this as well, so that's still a flex.
Yes.
Can be going just about anywhere. Any of the lanes, probably not going to be jungling. That's what I'm going to say. As Life thinking about going back to an old favorite here. Could, of course, be Peanut's champion and has played a lot of Gragas in the past, but Life had a breakout performance on the Gragas support, and I would like to see it down there, but still technically a flex as well.
Gragas could go top lane, but more traditionally, it is a jungler. So now we'll see what the bans are. Most likely, Gen.G just has to pinch junglers in a spot like this.
I feel like Xin Zhao needs to be banned away. It's Malrong's far and away best champion. But next, do they get rid of the Olaf and see whether they can actually pinch that champion pool down any further? What did Jin ban away here? What are they assuming from that Gragas? My assumption is bottom lane, but
ban supports.
Yeah, I think banning support sounds like a good idea. Victor, though, is going to be the first one to be taken off the board.
I guess that what they don't want is Urgot to go mid and then Victor to go top lane.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually indicating that Linderong will be the one playing Vladimir.
I guess so.
So Olaf now being banned away as well by Gen.G.
I would be a little bit perplexed if it wasn't Grace. After that performance on the Zoe, I'd want to give him a carry. I'd want to give him a damage dealer. I wouldn't want to change that playstyle.
Right.
So far as Elise, the only one of the 2 successful junglers here for Peanut, Elise, and now Zach. Today, as Peanut thinking about going back to an old favorite, Clid gave us a real treat on his Lee Sin, and Peanut's going to lock it in. Okay. Let's see whether he can go back to vintage Peanut that was schooling people with this pick. Aurelia, man, okay, this could be the Linderong pick as well. But now, LS, feels like we got a bunch of awesome dudes.
Okay.
And that is Root playing the bottom lane Vladimir, most likely, with Grace and Linderong swapping around between this Aurelia and the Scion.
These are very, very explosive team compositions. And, okay, for the last pick, your friend and mine.
Yep, there we go. How surprised are you? How surprised are you?
I love it.
Yeah,
this is how I wanted to cap off the night.
Well, this is the special. The SKT special that they brought out was Lee Sin, Lissandra, and Urgot. And they won a whole bunch of times with this exact composition. Felt like they were holding on to strats, but as it turned out, it was just damn strong. But this is a very different bottom lane. This is very similar to other ideas that we've had with the Victor being put towards the bottom side of the map to try and nullify these sorts of matchups. We saw that used by Damwon against Teddy and Marta in our first series, and now it's going to be a little bit different flavor, a little bit more of the Griffin-esque style with Viper playing so much Vladimir bot. Root and Kellen going to try the Vladican on the bottom side, and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, and we'll take another quick look at the team compositions here. So for Jin Greenwings, Linderong, Malrong, Grace, Root, and Kellen on the Scion, Sejuani, Irelia, Vladimir, and Rakan. This is a wombo combo in the mid and late game. The issue is that if Aurelia goes down, the whole thing goes down if they don't bring someone down with her.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be largely about how well Root and Grace can pair together in that mid to late game to try and get the Vanguard's Edge and the Hemo Plague working out at the right times. Whereas on the other side of the map, Gen.G have gone as about as stock stand as you possibly can. Scaling bottom side of the map, level 6 jungler, and then Aftershock and Spellbooks in the other lanes. Let's see how it goes as we get into game 3. Okay, here we are. Teams clash, but nothing funny level 1 apart from Root trading a transfusion with an Acathian Rain, which is something that he learnt is not a good idea. Phase Rush was the decision as well as we go down the Keystones. Pretty standard stuff elsewhere on the side of Jin Air, but the Phase Rush is the decision that Root has made. Of course, you've got so many different options that you can go for as the Vladimir, but this is the more speedy variety and the one that we've been seeing more often recently. On the other side, it's very, very standard stuff. Fleet Footwork being picked up by Ruler, but Aftershocks, Spellbooks, and an Electrocute. Very understandable here.
Yep. And the thing about this is that, you know, we talked about what the Jin Air Greenwings composition wants to achieve. On the flip side, for Gen G, though, a lot of these champions in 2v2s and 3v3s in later stages, they can fare on their own. This isn't just the Ruler show because of how aggressive and all-in the Jin Air Greenwings champion composition is. So their whole thing is about protecting Ruler and making sure that Grace goes down. And if that happens, and Ruler can itemize against Grace or against Root, then I don't know how Jin Air is supposed to actually win a team fight. Very similar to Game 1.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that More of Malmortius is another thing that we might be complimenting Ruler on as far as that decision, because we'll be working in his lane, even if it won't be mitigating a lot of Grace's damage. Still certainly a good idea. Has a little bit of effectiveness against the Rakan and the Sejuani as well. Fly able to get the shove on in this lane, and that's what we've experienced with a lot of these Lissandra Urgot type games. It means that you can get some wave control and some priority in the earlier stages, and then transition that later into teamfight wombo. Peanut gonna have run of the show with these solo lanes working out very effectively for Gen G.
Malrong now taking the red buff. Lee Sin trying to get the Scuttle Crab priority on the left-hand side.
See whether he's going to try and do the double scuttle again. Did that on the Elise and then continued to be basically ahead the entire game from the jungle. Losing the game wasn't about Peanut's performance on the Elise. I've always liked his Elise, but not being able to set up with his team for those picks is really what brought them down. That's a team decision, not a Peanut decision.
I really like what's happening. We saw the question mark ping by Malrong on his own Gromp, probably indicating that because of the way that top lane was being played out, that Lee Sin could have maybe gone Scuttle Crab into Gromp and looking for a top gank, but instead, Peanut
coming on
finds
over.
Malrong. Peanut does not have Smite.
Just watches it go down as the blue buff is going to be started now. Peanut not able to get in there for the steal, and of course, securing stuff is what Sejuani's pretty damn good at. And I thought navigating a lane is something that Vladimir's good at, but Root showing us that it can be quite difficult here into the Gragas Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
Gragas Kai'Sa, of course, a favorite lane when Kai'Sa was first released. Gragas Kai'Sa and Morgana Kai'Sa were the most popular.
Yep.
And I actually really like it. Of course, was popularized in Worlds, the Gragas Kai'Sa lane, mostly.
Well, it should be noted that Vladimir does have teleport available, so... And he has a big wave coming in, so we'll see how much of this wave he can end up getting. It should be able to be all of it.
You've got a back coming down from Malrong. Doesn't want to go for any ganks here onto Ruler. There's Root and Kellen underneath his turret. Root's all transfused up, but has used a potion. Things should be A-okay here, as Guardian's going to help them sustain through this lane as well as the Rakan passive coming in for that extra little burst of healing after the Gleaming Quill. Roach pushing forward, and these lanes are doing what they say on the box, which is we can push, we can control waves, and we can get our junglers some priority, but Roach now, with vision here up towards the top side. Malrong standing just out of it, and will finally show himself. Disdain going to be used to get out of the smash, and that means nothing doing for that gank topside.
Sejuani did give away her location. I do believe that she was indeed visible, so everyone knows, okay, she has 24 CS, so we know what camps of hers are still up, where she's going. Everyone on Gen G knows where she is now for the next 2 minutes.
Well, Peanut, we'll see what he actually does about this information that he's got into his head. Right now, not with the experience leads that he's been showing us that he can pick up pretty consistently against Malrong in the first 2 games. Level 5 before Malrong has hit his level 5, but otherwise nothing to write home about. And Roach is just having a party on the Crab God underneath this turret. As Linderung comes in, this is what happens. I mean, you're going to win the lane if you're an Urgot with the right skin against a Scion with the wrong skin. You know? That's what I think anyway. Malrong clears out some more camps. Things continue to be relatively subdued in the early stage of the game. Surprise, surprise.
Ocean Drake, first dragon of the game, no fun allowed anymore. Yeah. I am hoping that we get a 50-minute kill-less game.
Is that what you're hoping for?
That's my cup of tea.
That's gonna solve your cold. That's gonna be your tonic. That's your remedy. All right, Fly gonna get stunned up here. Takes about half of his health bar. Aftershock gonna be helping Fly out. Does have the Frozen Tomb for himself. Grace had also just hit level 6, but did not want to be using that defensively. And I don't know what's going on with Fly, but not having a great couple of games here. Just caught in the wrong position. Life coming on over as well, as Ruler was getting a bit of an advantage. Peanut, I believe, stole away that Rift Scuttle. That is why it is over there, as Life going to come on in. Wants to find the body slammer. Cathian Rain helped out by the damage of the Gragas, and first blood to Gen G.
And it is on to the Gragas. So now, with Kellen not down here in bottom lane, I mean, he is almost level 6. He does have that pool available to him. Not too much pressure should happen. Roach actually doing a very good job in this lane.
Yeah.
He's up almost 20 CS, and he's up a level already.
He's straight up bullying him. And after going from a Jace matchup into the Urgot matchup, which doesn't hard win the lane as hard as the Jace. Very impressive. As Peanut and Life played that out very, very nicely. I like the Blast Cone used for special delivery Gragas. Just bullying the Rakan here for the first blood. Dragon Rage Kick available. Malrong hasn't quite hit his ultimate just yet. Another Glacial ultimate to come into this game.
And, well, I mean, there was no real kill potential there in mid. No Lissandra ultimate. And even if they did, I mean, Grace has the cleanse available, so don't know what he was expecting to achieve there. And you look at the gold differential, it is about 1K in favor of Gen G, and most of that is inside of Scion, and then, of course, the first blood kill and assists.
Just think that they're not experimenting with a funny little pick comp and then not picking anyone. They've picked a very Gen G composition. Yeah.
They're picking a comp that plays itself.
Yes, exactly.
It is very, very simplistic. Can Lee Sin R? Can Lissandra R? Ruler, can you not die?
Yep.
And fortunately for them, Generic Greenwings chose a team composition that doesn't think. It just sort of goes, okay, well, we're all going to press our R key at the same time. Let's try to kill the Kai'Sa. And if they don't, it's going to pan out very much like game number 1.
Yes, that's what I sort of feel. The Kai'Sa comp seems to be the one doing the winning in this particular matchup. You could imagine with both of these teams being very guilty of playing the game slowly, having that dirty S word that Papa Smithy talks about all the time in the scaling is something you would definitely choose to do. Life, we'll see how greedy he gets for this Demolish proc. We've seen certain supports be very guilty of that in the past.
Definitely do want the plates. And here we go. This is exciting. Peanut getting that Ocean Drake.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, if you get it at, like before 10 minutes like this, it's definitely a much better Drake than it otherwise could be. But, you know, don't want to give away the high-value Ocean Drake.
Usually, Ocean Drake is very valuable if you're trading inside of laning phase. You have to be fighting with the opponent in order to make use of that. So
maybe we could just leave that Ocean Drake there for the whole game then.
Oh,
okay.
Well, nice
Disdain,
cancel.
yeah, going to jump on forward. That's just how Disdain works. Been learning a lot about the old Urgot interactions with the Disdain. It's very funny when you Disdain into a Justice Punch, because it's like he leapfrogs you at very high speed. That's a fun one.
Well, Urgot still almost 20 CS ahead, almost has that Black Cleaver completed, and still has the Ignite available, so...
Yes, laning phase going very, very well for him as Life. We've seen this play before as Roach, now in an absolutely awful position, gets chomped down, and Linderung is very, very healthy. The flash has to be used, and I need to see the start of that story to understand what the heck just happened. All right, okay.
When the replay comes, we're just going to let it happen. There are no words that can capture
that viewing experience. Yes, okay. I hope we do get the replay then.
I'm hoping. Or it might just have a little bit too much goodness.
I mean, there was no kill that came in, so maybe they're just like, no, we don't need a replay for that one. But having that flash on cooldown is actually quite important because Roach wanted to be going aggressive and does have the Ignite available, so now can't get any of these flash disdains. Towards the top side is Peanut. Does land that one onto Malrang. Grace in a bit of control here in the mid lane though, and control wards eyeing each other off in the Dragon Pit. It's the Ocean Drake. He's thinking about going back to sleep. They woke him up and he doesn't really like it too much. Alright, Peanut going to come back in here. A lot of members of Jinna and Gen.G around this bottom side, but with Root farming things out, might be that Gen.G can start this one up again, but not even going to be able to kill that ward. It's going to regen.
I think Aurelia is actually just going Trinity Force first right away.
Yeah, doesn't actually even think that the Tiamat's necessary.
Yeah. And I do have to say that Grace is doing a pretty good job inside of this lane, actually managing to beat Fly in the CS department as well. I mean, some stuff did happen early on, but for the most part, not too much action actually going on across the board. Only one plate has been taken this game, and that's in top lane.
Yeah, taken by the Urgot.
Yep.
12 minutes in, 2 minutes before those plates are going to fall down. Bottom lane missing a plate as well. There was a big old picture of Vladimir hanging over that one, so couldn't actually see that. But that's a 4 down there as well, so about 320 extra gold going into the hands of Gen.G, which is why we see slightly more than just first blood gold lead coming in for this squad.
I'm not sure how this lane reached this point, though. I mean, there was a point where Roach was up a level, or maybe not an entire level, but he was up in CS, he was up a level, he was up Summoner Spell advantage, and then somehow Lindrang managed to bring it back, and you can just see the items that he has. It's very, very difficult now for Roach inside of this laning phase until he completes that Black Cleaver. Lindrang going to end up picking himself up a plate here.
Most likely, unless this Purge is going to be able to get rid of these minions quickly enough, and it looks like that is the case. But the next visit should get there, unless in a minute's time the minion wave doesn't actually crash. See the Scion actually playing extraordinarily far up. The vision is right there for Roach as well. I don't know what went wrong. You're exactly right, Ellis. Something did, and it was a catastrophe. And we have no information as to what it was and how it happened.
Yeah.
So the mystery of the top lane swing is a big problem. Okay, there's the combo onto Kellen. Almost one comboed, and Ruler just comes in with the Acathian Rain. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it pours, but that's 2 kills now. Over to Gen.G, and they're looking to try and also take down this turret. Some free plating going over to Gen.G.
They're getting so much value, and we saw in the highlights leading up to the series, the Kai'Sa Gragas combo.
Yeah.
And we are seeing it here yet again.
That's what you can do if you land all of your spells, and life makes it look easy on this Gragas.
Malrang. Okay.
He's just going to come on over. Doesn't have wards available to get them in that pit. But backs are going to come in. Ruler's got his first evolution. Going to grab his Berserker's Greaves and head towards that Supercharger evolution as well. Very close to getting there, and this Kai'Sa is going to be online much sooner than we otherwise would have expected, given the 1-0-1 nature of Ruler. Let's see this again. Life is just so good at Gragas.
Take a look at this one last time. Well, Kellen kind of walked into it. Doesn't even matter. He tries to run to Vladimir, says, save me, but a little bit too late as Ruler. I don't know where I was going with that. I said Reger. I don't know.
I was thinking about making a joke, and I'm like, but I actually just don't really understand where that was going.
My brain is starting to malfunction.
I think so. We need to get you out of here. It's okay. That's the last game. We're fine. As Root pushing out on this bottom side, I just want to see more of those combos from Life. Gragas is real nice, but Jinna going to be able to get this pesky Ocean Drake out of here. I think Gen.G are probably pretty happy about it. Finally, it's no longer something that we need to look at.
Well,
he's lying in wait.
And the next...
okay.
The next Ocean is another...
I like that you talk about rubber band camps, because I feel like we've got rubber band spectating a lot of the time as well. Rubber band is something that's quite effective as Ruler with the Acathian Range is going to clear out this minion wave, and we're still waiting for Life to pull the trigger. Control ward not going to be baiting as effectively here. they're not quite in threat range. Knight on cooldown for life, but does have the flash.
This is the longest laning phase I have ever remembered.
Wow, yeah.
Casting, actually.
15.5 minutes, and we're still just laning.
I mean, mid and top, they're good to go.
Oh, barrel comes down. We're going to get the flash out of life as well as Root does have the pull, but can he get out of the way in time? Q lands, Peanut, the Lee Syndrome, not going to come in. He respected the extra health he can get back as the Vladimir, but it wouldn't be this series without a Q landing from Lee Sin on a very low health target and someone not going in.
Well, Captain Careful coming out. That is, that's what's going on here.
Very interesting though. I felt like Peanut was a little bit off the board as Frozen Tomb comes in and immediately Grace is going to cleanse out of it. Are you okay?
I'm not. I don't know.
Just to clue you guys in at home, Ellis just looked over to me with a very surprised look on his face.
Well, at this point now we're getting some more Urgot on Scion action. And I don't know what to say at this point in the game. Rift Herald's an option. Everyone can make each other sort of force things. When Scion has priority, you would think that the jungler would come over and try to get the Rift Herald, especially because your mid laner's actually winning a counter matchup in mid.
Yeah.
I don't quite know exactly what's going on. The itemization right now for Jin Air Greenwings is actually superior to that of Gen G's. They're going to manage to get themselves the Rift Herald. Or maybe they can convert this into a mid-tier 1 turret.
Well, all the neutral objectives have actually gone the way of Jin Air this time around. They don't have anywhere near a gold lead just yet because Gen G have picked up those extra kills. The turret plates did go in their favor. They were able to knock down the turrets a little bit better. Top lane outer, I think, was the only one that actually suffered a turret plate loss for Jin Air Greenwings, and Gen G got one in almost every lane. Fly is still able to push things further forward and very even on CS, despite Grace being able to pick up this whole wave. Tiamat there means that it's going to be a very quick thing as well, as Linderong's just continuing to win trades against Roach. Black Cleaver not enough to overcome this. The Bramble Vest just seemed like that was the tipping point.
If we talk about things that aren't enough, then with the Jin Air Greenwings, we talked about, okay, Vladimir, Aurelia need to get the engage onto Ruler. They have to find a way to delete him, because otherwise they're always just going to lose the fight. He's just going to deal too much damage, and he's going to have too many resistances. But hold that thought.
Yep, okay. That was a flash. Fly's going to get out with the claw. Another great barrel comes in from Life as Peanut does follow this Q and just safeguards his way out. The train comes on in. They're looking to bully Fly, but no, says Live. Is able to get a lot of work done off the side, but Ruler able to do so as well. They get rid of Fly eventually, but the trade goes in favor of Gen G.
Yeah, and they trade mid laners right there. Lissandra's almost going to have teleport available, but not too much ground being gained by either team.
I thought that was an extra kill, actually, so an even 1-for-1, actually.
Well, Malrong missed his ult, so that's what ended up happening there. But as I was just mentioning, if you don't have a, we'll take a look at this. So Fly decides to flash forward, get stunned up right away, and not to be outdone, Malrong throws the ultimate, completely whiffs. Peanut finally manages to get something done, and then tells Fly, you know what, actually you die.
Yeah.
So,
Peanut lives though, able to safeguard his way out, yeah.
He did almost make it away. And then at that point, Root arrives, so the fighting had to stop. But Urgot, in the meanwhile, was getting some waves up in the top lane.
Yeah, there we go. Was a 4v5 scenario that Gen G managed to get a 1-for-1 in, so not bad for them. And the Rage Blade is done. Ruler is now definitely a very scary Kai'Sa on this Gen G squad, but we saw it a little bit in that last fight. It's hard for him to find an avenue to get in there. Linderong's creating lots of zones of control, and Root is threatening with that Hemo Plague at all times. Grace there with the Vanguard's Edge can be very sticky onto the Kai'Sa despite her many displacement options in the Supercharger and the Killer Instinct. It'll be about Ruler playing like a god, like he can do. Huguenoland going to give away the position of Malrong and Kellen. And another Ocean Drake, of course.
At this point, we just have to, I mean, Ruler just has to start building the durability items. He doesn't need to deal any more damage because all the members on Jin Air Greenwings are going to be extremely tanky as it is.
Well, that's a Vladimir that can't actually get into this fight anymore, as Ruler just chunked him out to no end. The Supercharger, when it looked like he was going the wrong direction, was a very, very cute move. making sure that Root didn't really have too many follow-up options. Roach and Linderung still fighting. Still confusing me as to how that lane has turned around so significantly. And Jin Air, are they just going to go and take this dragon? Because Gen G haven't actually done too much to stop them as of yet when it comes to these neutral objectives.
Like Gen G want to get themselves an Ocean Drake so that the third one of the game can spawn.
Aha, the third Ocean Drake.
Yep.
I think that's where the smart money is. We're gonna ocean our way through. As,
oh my!
Yet again.
God.
Shelly she hasn't spent a lot of time on the Rift in this series.
This is twice now.
Yeah, dude.
You can't make this up.
Look at my face. Do you see surprise? That was just a cask for a Shelly trade, just to make sure that Life doesn't have that for this next team fight. The Jin Air, definitely a mistake. Not one that you want to see as a Jin Air fan, as Life is once again just body blocking, and that is an ocean apiece, and the next one's a mountain. All right, we're moving into real dragon territory after this one. So give it 5 minutes, and then we might see some more fighting. Linderung just splitting on this Scion very, very nicely. Now we've got Righteous Glories on both sides, Black Cleaver in there as well, and you can imagine that Linderung probably wants to get back home and also start augmenting this item build.
Well, at this point, Mountain is actually the next dragon, so a little bit of saving grace.
Yep.
Coming up in terms of dragon RNG, and I mean, on paper, a lot of people are probably watching this like, okay, Jin Air Greenwings is only down 2,000 gold. No. There's the base champion scaling that you have to entertain. And even though a lot of people are like, oh, isn't Aurelia and Vladimir really strong? Yes, they are. But inside of this composition, they're accompanied by a Rakana Sejuani and a Scion. If they don't just gimp Ruler, they're on a ticking time bomb, and Ruler's just going to keep getting resistances from here on out.
Yeah, he's got
I don't know how you're going to bring him down.
It's going to be very, very hard. But Jin Air made the impossible possible in game number 2. Can they do it again here in game number 3? Because, honestly, the games looked pretty similar at this stage. And Jin Air were able to turn it back around. This time, Grace on the Aurelia instead of on the Zoe that he had such an incredible MVP performance on. One of the better Zoes that we've seen so far this year, I think. As far as the pop-offs and getting all of the bubbles in the right spots. Chovy also had a pretty impressive Zoe performance as well.
3-minute laning phase.
Yeah, we're still doing it. Hey, at least we've got a swap. We got a swap.
Hey!
We got the turret to fall on the bottom side of the map. Gen G getting out of this laning phase now. We've done it. We've broken open the bottom lane outer turret.
Well, at this point, the next major objective is definitely going to be the Mountain, followed by the Baron, as I don't think either team really have Baron on their agenda yet.
Not quite. That being said, Gen G certainly have the faster Baron of the two teams without an AD carry. It certainly is something that is a bit of a no-brainer. Even as a play-by-play commentator, I know that one. I also know that Fly is definitely in trouble. Ring of Frost is there. Claw of Doom going to get him over the Vanguard's edge. There's another ultimate is going to go wide. However, Kellen gets in there. Kickback from Peanut to save himself, but not Life, who's going to get taken out by Grace. That's one, but could have been a bunch more, I think, for Jin Air.
Yeah, I don't think that they can turn this into a Baron, but it might be what they're thinking about.
So much vision surrounding this Baron pit as well, as this turret is being zoomed in on for some reason. Yes, it is relatively low.
Yeah. Roach is down there in the bottom lane, continuing to farm. He is very good at that. He
is. He's been doing it a lot. The splitting has certainly been a thing. As the passive is going to pop, yeah, Root doesn't actually use the pull. Kellen is finally going to join him, and thankfully Transfusion is going to keep Root topped up on health relatively soon, but Ruler does have to be respected. It's getting scary for these Jin Air players to deal with the Kai'Sa.
And at this point, Mountain, minute and a half. You could just concede top tier 1 turret, doesn't matter. You can lock the waves at top tier 2 if you're Gen G. Just make sure that you prioritize vision around the dragon and secure that, because it's such an important Drake for your team composition.
Linderung wanted nothing to do with Roach just there. He wanted to try and get Fly, but the Righteous Glory was cancelled. That feels really bad. Oh dear. Roach's Flash is also on cooldown for some reason.
It's alright. Yeah, spellbook. Maybe he'll swap it out for something.
Okay. Slightly perplexed as to how that even happened, but I guess you just don't ask these questions sometimes. We've got another one of these games where 5 kills have happened and we've just got random bounties coming out. 600 for a 0-0-0 Urgot in a lane that I thought he was losing in, honestly. Not to be the case, especially after taking down a couple of turrets. The global gold going to be there for Gen G to the tune of about 3,000.
Why doesn't Aurelia have any bounty or Scion?
I guess Grace died.
This is actually one of the algorithms I don't totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff,
yes.
and it's about global gold, and it's divided by 4. And
what?
There's a weird divided by 4 thing when there's 5 players in there for a reason that's actually very smart, but I don't really understand.
Okay.
Oh, hey, is going to land this time. Quickness comes down as well, but Life in there with a great ultimate, and Ruler's going to grab that first kill. It's a 1-for-1 so far as Fly gets out of there. That means that Jinne will have more people here, but the Fear Beyond Death is going to land, and Roach just gets rid of the piggy. Roach in trouble, though. Life and Ruler are still here, and Ruler just survives for too damn long and picks up 2 kills. And this is what you said. You don't kill Ruler, you don't win the game, and they definitely don't win this team fight.
And Fly did an excellent job. He held Grace at bay on the right-hand side of the river for so long, and it didn't matter because by the time he got to the fight, Fly was then able to use his ultimate to lock up, I believe, Root is what he used it on. And if Ruler doesn't go down, you cannot win the fight.
And Ruler's positioning was absolutely beautiful, but what I want to point out as well is that Fear Beyond Death from Roach was life-saving for this team because it gave Ruler so much space where he was actually able to go. And what did we talk about before? Jinne's composition is very good at making no Ruler zones to get damage down. That wasn't the case in this fight as we have a look at it again.
Take a look at this team fight. And, you know, the first ultimate that Malrong ends up hitting ends up being disastrous for his own team as Kellen just gets completely lit up. Look at the bottom right-hand side. Grace wasting time on Fly, gets to the fight too late. Fear Beyond Death makes Grace turn around, can't go on to Ruler, and then from that point, you don't have any damage for him anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. Too many buttons pressed with Ruler with a full health bar and no one actually hitting him means that it's just all too easy to clean up. And it does take some finesse to actually fight this team composition from Gen G because you've got so many more issues being thrown at you with Roach and Fly not being necessarily ignorable, and Peanut and Life can just throw people in so many different directions.
Whoa!
Flank gonna come in as Fly gets on top. They're starting another fight instantly as the Gragas grabs that first kill, and now Gen G are trying to rout him, but this time they've managed to pick up the kill onto Ruler. That being said, it's exactly what we were talking about. If you allow everybody else to do what they want, they can still win these fights.
Yes, and in the 2v2s and 3v3s, the other champions for Gen G are more competent than the remaining members of Greenwings if Aurelia is absent.
Yeah,
the Lee Sin can still deal damage. The Urgot can still deal damage. Lysandra, you can't kill her.
And this is the thing, you know, they just put everything into trying to get Ruler, but Ruler had already done a lot of damage at the start of that fight. A lot of the damage had been done, and it meant that when Jinne were throwing themselves at the Kai'Sa, Fly's in there with some damage. Roach is in there with some damage. Even Peanut's getting some work done in Life. We've been talking about him all day. 2-1-7 on the Gragas. Makes it look damn good. Let's have a look at this one again. The engage from Fly this time was really nice.
And you can see Ruler in the top left. They managed to eventually get onto him, and he had Flash available, gets locked up by Grace, and that's Grace's job in these fights. Yeah. Normally accompanied by a Vladimir ultimate and then trying to live after, because Aurelia is so crucial for the Greenwings team composition. But I think that it's just too little too late. This is just like game number 1.
Yeah, feels like it. Mountain Drake is going to go down. Rift Scuttler there as well, and Inhibitor dead in the mid lane. There's no longer a Baron on this map. Gen G picked that one up very, very easily and then immediately started a new fight. See where they can go next, because this game is going to get to 10k gold territory very, very quickly.
And there it is. The Scimitar just picked up for Ruler. Next item probably should just be a Guardian Angel. Just add salt to the wound.
2,000 gold ahead of Root right now.
Yep.
That is just insane. And yeah, the core item's done, like you were saying. Peanut protecting this outer turret on the top side.
This should just be the death push. And unfortunately, Urgot doesn't have Baron because in a weird turn of events, Gen G was actually too quick to eat the Baron. Didn't want to wait the extra 3 seconds. God forbid that.
Yeah, that's a whoopsie.
So Roach missing out on the Baron buff, not able to tap the current mid-minion wave to accelerate it forward.
Could get in there, but at the moment, trying to set up for the next 5v5 that Gen G feel pretty confident about taking, no matter how Ruler fares in it. Seems to still be working out for them. Roach doing enough damage, and Fly, you can see, lying in wait, trying to get that perfect claw. Peanut could give them a bit of a delivery as there's the engage, but it's actually Malrung that jumps in first and then gets booped back. Kellen dives into the back line, but who can actually follow up? And the answer is no one. Killer Instinct. Look at the AoE damage, the explosion that is the Jin-Air Greenwings. And Gen G will pick up the team fight in a landslide.
Yeah, and that's going to be the game. Malrung, he's trying to run to the other base. I think he wants to join that team right about now, but...
Yeah, there's a bunch of defecting going on, a lot of weird teleports happening as well, but at the moment, junglers chasing junglers, Linderung trying to survive for as long as he possibly can, but 4 members should be enough to take down these Nexus turrets, and Gen G, despite a loss in game number 2, will finally put a set victory on the board by taking down the Jin-Air Greenwings, and it's all because of this man. It's all because of Ruler.
Yeah. And if he doesn't get MVP, something is seriously wrong.
Yeah. I mean, the only other player that I would even think about giving it to would be Life, but he didn't have enough of those moments to warrant it. Malrung? The Gen G's MVP?
I mean, the Rift Herald, the Mist Stars, those are pretty... Yeah, I don't know how Gen G could have done it without him.
There were definitely some doors hanging wide open in the Glacial Prison today. Let's just say that. However, it was a much cleaner performance in game number 3 for Gen G, and watching them bounce back from a very difficult game 2 and have the mentality to keep it all together, still playing very slow League of Legends, of course, but it was methodical. It was what they needed to do. It was the comp they knew how to play. They made it look pretty good here against the Jin-Air Greenwings, but I mean, these are the 2 bottom teams in the LCK, and they're going to have a better performance as we move into week 3. A couple of days off, but their competition is only going to get steeper from this point on.
Well, I mean, Gen G, game 1 and game 3 were very nearly identical. They were very simple team compositions that also, fortunately for them, the opponents drafted very, very poorly into.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this game 3 draft felt a little bit better than game 1. It felt like there were things that it could do to get them a win, but I completely agree with you that it just wasn't good enough on paper at the beginning. And the Vladimir bottom lane, I didn't see anything to make Root even worth talking about in that series. There were no Hemo Plagues, there were no flanks. It takes a certain player to be able to pick up the Vladimir and make it look as busted as Noggery and Viper have been able to do in the past. And just wasn't really something that Root was able to get done, as Malrung, you can see, not exactly looking super psyched now, wondering what the heck they can do to change their fate here for the Jin-Air Greenwings, because something needs to change, otherwise we're looking at the opposite Griffin for the start of this season.
Fly does not look very happy.
He didn't have a great series.
He did not. But, you know, this is something I talk about pretty often. When players recognize, even in a victory, that they could have done a lot better, I think that's a testament to a really good mindset. Like, I should have done better. It doesn't matter that we won.
Yeah,
you know.
This is what I can improve on.
This is what I can do.
And identifying where your mistakes are, I think, is the important part. Because we've seen, especially in the first few days of Gen G's play, Fly especially was making mistakes and making the same ones again. So being able to identify that hopefully means that there is signs for the future for Fly. But that was definitely a long series, a brutal series. But in the end, Gen G, I think, did deserve a little bit of extra gratitude for that one. A little bit of extra hope for the Gen G faithful, because it shows that they can still play their Gen G League of Legends. They can play it real slow, but it does work. And those last 2 team fights from Gen G were
very
clean.
decisive.
They were very nice.
Very explosive. Once they got their leads, they made quick work with them. They made quick work of Jin-Air Greenwings. And the team compositions, you could sort of say that it played itself in those endgame fights, but realistically, I mean, Ruler, he showed up today like we were expecting him to. Yeah,
like he has to if they're going to win, right? If you see that it's a Gen G W, then obviously Ruler had a good day.
He's become the new Teddy. Yeah. He's on a different team.
Oh, there's a lot of Teddies in this league at the moment. Have you spoken to Deft recently? I mean, he's feeling in a little bit of a similar situation, although Kingzone are coming off a victory, and it was actually a lot of different carrying went on with that one, so maybe a little bit different there. As this looked really, really nice. I love, like, the cheeky little ways that Life is able to get things done. Especially this one. This is quintessential Life, hitting all the buttons, and then Ruler swooping on in and taking all the glory.
And even this right here, I mean, this was a who can do it worse moment, but in the end, both teams ended up just going even. It was a 1-for-1 trade of the mid laners. Peanut telling Fly, you know what, I think they're a little bit less valuable than me.
I'm out of here, boys. I'm out of here. And he safeguards his way out and never comes back.
Which is a really interesting choice, to be honest, because Peanut had no jungle camps up and Fly's the wave clear, and he was level 13.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a really poor decision.
Peanut was actually just dodging a Scion flying in his face, not really thinking about who he's sacrificing by doing so.
Yep.
And this was the first one that just went straight up wrong, and the Fear Beyond Death timing was so good.
And Fly was the unspoken hero here, holding Grace off on the right-hand side of the river for as long as he did. If Aurelia was there earlier, maybe some things would go a little bit differently.
Yep.
So Fly, he did his job that fight.
And I actually think that what we're looking at here for these team fights, I feel like we're getting a Life MVP. I think we're going to be able to have an MVP interview with the bottom lane of Gen G, because I swear, he makes the Gragas look so good. This is his pick, and this is also a big moment for Life, you know, because they have Nova, who's played... sorry, no, I take it all back. That's on the other side, and that's Root and Kellen. They didn't have a great time. It's getting late, but this was nice. Get Malrong back into the team, and it's all because of the Gragas, you know, getting all the CCs down, and Grace didn't have many opportunities to get things done because he had this big fat guy flash body slamming him all the time.
Yep. And look at the damage chart here. Ruler 25. Okay, Vladimir.
Yeah.
Well.
That's some anemic damage numbers. That's when you stop playing Vladimir at that point. 1.7k beneath the Sejuani that I think hit one Glacial Prison.
It was one that cost them the game.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, that is not very good. But Life is going to pick it up. Well deserved for the Gragas. Ruler certainly played well, but it was all because of this guy setting him up, and I love that he gets it.
It's a really nice ultimate right there. Life just had a lot of good plays. He also got the stuff going down in the bottom lane with that highlight.
Yeah, and you saw the highlights earlier. I feel like the highlights from this game were just Life highlights.
Yes. They pretty much were. Ruler just getting pure free damage. Doesn't even matter about Linderong.
Yep. And this is what happens. It's pretty easy to right-click someone and press Q a few times. Pick yourself up a triple kill after everyone's moved out of the way because of your hero Gragas in your front line. Watch what he's doing, just able to get everyone in the right positions. Start this one off.
Scion.
Yeah, that Glacial Prison landed. Yep. So that wasn't a bad one. But unfortunately, Malrong actually couldn't affect the fight after that point because just didn't have enough buttons and was a little bit too late, throwing in the afterthought ult. So certainly a lot of things to work on for the Jin Air Greenwings, but Grace's MVP performance was brilliant. So that's something that they can hold on to, as we do have the bottom lane of Gen G for the interview. So let's throw it over to Ji-sun to get some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun with today's final interview translation, and we're going to join by Ruler and Life from Gen G.
I'm not
really happy because it was a hard game, but it still feels good that we got the win. We are still underperforming compared to our performance in scrims, but we finally got the win, so yeah, I'm quite happy. Well, Genji was definitely in the downfall nowadays. What kind of conversation would players and coaching staff have before going into today's series? During the consecutive losses, I think we were more like afraid of games, so we have to be more brave and bold during the games. We actually drank together and we were becoming closer and closer. You guys did drink together? Life drinks a lot, actually. Then let's move on to the game number 1. You locked in Kai'Sa, and this is one of your main champions. Why do you prefer Kai'Sa over other AD carry champions? I think it's a really good pick in our composition, and also I have played it a lot, so I have huge experience on it.
카이사 원딜 어떤가요?
How do you like Kai'Sa as a AD carry, as a support player?
제일 좋아하는 원딜입니다.
Actually, I like it the best because we can make a lot of engagements and combos.
룰러 선수가 솔랭에서는 비원딜 연습을
Ruler, I saw you playing a lot of non-AD carry champions in solo queue.
기회가 되면 쓸 의향은 있는데
When there's a right situation to play, I will, but it doesn't really like high likely to happen. But yeah, I'm ready to play non-AD carry champion. Then why do you prefer marksman a lot?
원딜이 더 잘 맞고 뭐 저희
I think marksman actually connects to me better, and also me and also my team.
네, 팀적으로 원딜이 더 중요하다고 생각하시는 것 같습니다. 이번엔 라이프 선수의 세 번째 경기 얘기를 해보겠습니다.
Let's move on to game number 3.
아주 인상적이었어요. 네, 저희 영상 보면서
Your
얘기를
ultimate
나눠볼 텐데요.
and also the barrels
상대
were so
부시 쪽에
effective.
이렇게 숨어 계시다가
This is the highlight.
라칸을 끊어내는 모습이
You were
인상적이었습니다.
taking down
저때
Rakan over there.
아니면 콜은 누가 짰나요?
Whose call was that at that moment?
제가 2만 박으면 계속 솔킬을 낼 수 있는 상황이라서.
Well,
그냥
every
와드
time I
체크하고
hit my E,
시야와
actually,
막하고 오면은
it's
그냥
really
막았습니다.
easy to
그
make a solo
전략이
kill
아주 잘
on
통했던 것
Gragas.
같습니다. 굉장히 공격적인. 자,
So I always try to keep my vision around the support players.
카이사가 편하게 딜할 수 있는 환경을 그라가스가 만들어
I
주신
think you
것
made all the
같은데요.
situation for
그라가스의
Kai'Sa to put a lot of
카이사의
damage.
어떻게 보시나요?
How do you like the Gragas Kai'Sa combo?
재혁이 형만 지켜주면 재혁이 형이 알아서 다
Well, as long as I
잡아줄 수
protect
있어서 믿고
Ruler,
그냥
he can take
저는
down all the players.
계속 견제해준 것 같습니다.
네,
That was my main
바텀 듀오의
role.
서로에 대한 믿음이 대단한 것
I
같습니다.
guess you guys are trusting
서로가
each other a
생각하는
lot.
장점 한 마디씩만 부탁드릴게요.
What are the strengths of
라이프
each
선수는
players?
어떤 장점이 있을까요?
Any comments for each
이
other?
친구 같은 경우에는 좀
For life?
옛날부터 되게 솔킬 각이라던가 좀
He's really good at making
되게
solo
이니시가
kills
되게
and
잘
also
먹는 게 장점인
opening
것
team
같아요.
fights.
네, 알겠습니다.
And what about Ruler? Life?
재혁이 형은
Well, Ruler,
장점이
his strength is
잘 지켜주면은
if I
해줄 걸 다
protect him,
해줍니다.
he always do his role fully.
네, 알겠습니다. 네, 룰러 선수는 썩 마음에 들지 않는
I
대답인
don't
것
think
같지만
Ruler is really
여기서,
happy
네,
with that
파일을
comment,
하면서
but
마무리하도록 하겠습니다.
let's wrap
자,
up
다음
here.
경기가 KT
And
전입니다.
your
정말 만만치
next
않은
opponent will be
상대인데
KT
다음
Roaster.
경기 각오 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
Any last
일단
comments?
저희가 1승 1승 되게 간절한 상태라서
We're really
일단
desperate with
죽을 듯이
every
연습을 해야 될
game,
것 같고
so we have to really
다음
practice a
대회에서는
lot.
더 보다 나은 경기력으로 돌아오도록
I want to
하겠습니다.
promise all the
네,
fans to come back with better
감사합니다.
performance
자,
in
라이프
our
선수는요?
upcoming series.
연습 열심히 잘하고
We're gonna practice hard,
실전에서도 연습 때처럼
and we're gonna make
보여줘서
sure to
꼭
pull up the
이기겠습니다.
performance up
네,
to our
감사합니다.
performance
다음
at scrims.
경기에서도 꼭 웃으면서 이 자리에서
I hope you guys
뵐수
can
있었으면
be on the
좋겠습니다.
MVP
자, 오늘
interview
경기
stage on the next
인터뷰
series,
여기서
and also this will be the end of the interview with
안녕
Ruler
하면서 끝낼까요?
and
네.
live from Gen G.
아니요.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun, for the final interview translation of the
룰러
night.
선수.
Great to hear
라이프 선수
from the Gen G
감사드립니다.
bottom lane,
네,
Ruler and Life. Life having a
네.
fantastic
자, 인터뷰 여기서
game in game
끝내고요.
number 2.
중계석
And
연결할게요.
Ruler, of course,
저 혼자
being
안녕.
brilliant as ever.
해주시는 거예요?
And I feel like what we're mentioning with the Teddy Award certainly is looking like something that Ruler is in contention for, alongside, I believe, probably Deft would be the next one, judging by the first couple of Kingzone games. However, they're coming off both of these teams, coming off victories now, Kingzone and Gen G looking for some redemption, but that's going to be it. That's the end of week 2 of the LCK 2019. The first LS week, but the first of many, ladies and gentlemen. So look forward to that every weekend. More LS action for you guys.
Yeah, be here with you every Sunday.
Yeah.
Valdez on Saturday. So
we get to share, which is good. Papa doesn't have the full monopoly on one of us each time. But here you go. Here are the standings as they stand now, and Freaks fall behind Gen G after they pick up that 2-1 victory. And Jinna still trying to find a win. The first game win did come, but it wasn't a match win, and they're still desperately looking for that first number in the first column. So having zeros there is only good if you're Griffin and you've got it in the second column. So we're checking out the next week. And have a look at Thursday, guys. Have a look at Thursday.
How about Saturday? I get in on that. Griffin versus Sandbox.
Hey, yeah, dude. And then we get Humble Life versus SKT and Kingzone versus Gen G. The Teddy Award battle. We get the Teddy Award battle on Sunday. What a beautiful day.
Looking forward to joining you for that.
Yeah, so am I. Ruler versus Deft. That is actually a very fun matchup, and I'm excited to see whether the Fly versus Pawn match as well, sort of our older names in the LCK, whether Pawn can keep coming on up and whether Fly has put in that practice that we know he needs to, and we know he knows that he needs to as well. So yeah, that is going to be it though for tonight, guys. So week 2 is now in the books. Thankfully, we had the schedule that really brought everyone apart because we had the 2-0s versus the 2-0s and the 0-2s versus the 0